Yesterday we got a brand new Pokemon reveal in Grafaiai, which is pretty dope, but there's still plenty of things to talk about in the leak and rumor community, including the epic Paradox Volcarona. Let's take a look. Alright guys, so let's dive right in here. First thing I want to talk about is Grafaiai. Obviously that's kind of the most recent thing. It was revealed yesterday. Really cool Pokemon, our first ever poison and normal type Pokemon. And there's a few points that I want to cover. Then we're going to talk about some stuff like I mentioned about Volcarona and much, much more. So the thing is, the II Pokemon does have a pre-evolution. We have reason to believe that Grafaiai is actually a second stage, and there's going to be a baby version of Grafaiai. This was reported by Centro, but even more importantly was reported by Riddler Koo, saying that the pre-evo was ZZY in Chinese. Y is Yan. So I don't know what that really tells us in terms of what it's gonna look like or what its name is, but we're believing it's to look a little bit more like a mouse as opposed to this II. So that's something to be excited about. I personally am excited about it. To me, I can see it being a pre-evolution, or having a pre-evolution rather. I don't know if I see it evolving though. It kind of gives me like Chinchino Minchino vibes, I guess I would say, which does kind of bring us to our next point, which is actually regarding its ability. And we know that it has two abilities at this point. We know it has Poison Touch and we know it has Unburden as two abilities, but generally Pokemon have hidden abilities as well. And the Riddler says, NA, you knew it from a new item. And we believe this to be talking about the hidden ability for Grafaiai, which would be relevant in competitive Pokemon, especially if it's good. A lot of people took to the comment section to try to speculate what the Riddler could be talking about. What is it that is a new item that might be related to this ability? There's a few particular things. One of which is the loaded dice ability could be related to Grafaiai's ability, maybe Skill Link or something like that. And I think that that could be really strong if you had the opportunity to basically hit 5 times and be able to do a lot of damage that way with moves like Tail Slap, which it very well may learn. That's the move that really kind of stands out, but it also could get things like Bullet Seed or moves like that. One of the things that's very interesting, however, is the idea of using loaded dice with Grafaiai if it were to get a move like Tail Slap. And the reason why that's relevant is because Tail Slap would give it normal stab. It would be a pretty strong move. But with Poison Touch, Tail Slap, loaded dice, you could have a situation where you're pretty much always gonna be poisoning your opponents. Maybe like a 60-something, 70% chance to poison your opponents if you hit 4 or 5 times. So there's some potential combinations there. The other thought is that maybe it has a hidden ability related to Mirror Herb. And I don't know if I necessarily agree with that idea, but Mirror Herb is a new item that copies opponent's stat increase when consumed. It's very possible that Grafaiai could come onto the field and copy opponent's stat increases, much like a Spectral Thief would work for Marshadow, but in an ability. That could be very neat as well. The last kind of thought that I saw on the comment section was related to the Cloak, but that already exists in an ability when you look at Shield Dust. So the idea of like negating secondary effects seems kind of irrelevant here, because it's not really new, right? So to me, it feels like it's probably Skill Link, or it's probably based on Mirror Herb. I'm making the guess that it's gonna have Skill Link as its hidden ability, which would be cool, again, if it learned the move Tail Slap. I think that'd be dope. Otherwise, you're using Double Slap probably, and that's not gonna be very good. Before I dive into the rest of the leaks and everything, I gotta tell you guys, I'm so excited. We actually just released the How to Play guide for Elestrals, my new card game launching on Kickstarter in November. And with that, you have an opportunity to pick up some prototype starter decks and be a part of our community and help us playtest the game and fine-tune it right before Kickstarter. This is a super unique opportunity to play the game before the Kickstarter even launches, be a part of our Discord server, play against me in tournaments and all sorts of stuff, and enjoy the game of Elestrals, which I'm sure you guys are gonna love. This is gonna be so cool. I'm really proud that we get to do this. So if you wanna pre-order it, you can go to shopelestrals.com or just check out the Elestrals YouTube channel for the How to Play guide and see if it's something you're interested in. I did full deck breakdowns for all 5 starter decks, so you know exactly what you're getting, and we're gonna have a blast with this, man. I'm so excited about it. So thank you all. I do appreciate it if you guys pick them up. You're gonna love it. This game is sick. I poured my heart and soul into this game all year, and I'm so excited that we get to do this. I've just been having so much fun. So thank you to everyone. I want to let you guys know, just 72 hours on that pre-order. If you want to pick them up, shopelestrals.com, or like I said, head over to YouTube and check out the How to Play video so you can see if it's something you're interested in. So the Riddler goes on to post a handful of other tweets. HMY, hint, a name of a past paradox in Chinese. Not really much I'm going to be able to decipher there. There's some thoughts that maybe he's talking about Mischievous at one point and Amoonguss at another point, but the reality of it is the Chinese names don't always necessarily translate to the English names, so I don't think we're going to gather much from that. But there is something worth talking about here, and that is 4SNA debuff something. And what this is talking about, I think, is related to the 4 legendary Pokemon that we know to be Dark type. and they all have the same ability apparently, is what we're thinking, right? So kind of this game's version of the Thundurus, Tornadus, Landorus, and Enamorus, we're gonna have our own kind of group of 4 Pokemon that are all gonna do something, and their abilities are apparently very good, and apparently they debuff something. So when you think of debuffing abilities, the first thing that comes to mind is Intimidate, right? Intimidate is very, very strong. It's an ability that has dominated competitive Pokemon VGC for many, many years. We have heard in rumors and kind of information from leaks that some of the stronger abilities in the game are going to be nerfed. Does Intimidate get nerfed? I don't know. But when I think of debuffing stats, I think of a few different mechanics that could involve abilities here. Obviously, giving them Intimidate, for one, would just be really standard and could be just solid in general, giving them Intimidate. Giving them an Intimidate that affects special attackers, which we've never seen before, but could be very strong. I could definitely see that happening. Giving them a ability that debuffs or reduces the opponent's highest stat, which may be one of the strongest abilities in the game. If you can send something out and it would just automatically lower their highest stat by 1 stage. Or the last thing I'm kind of thinking of is it relates to speed, which would also be very good. If you can send something out and it immediately activates like a sticky web type effect on an opponent, that would immediately make this, quartet of Pokemon very, very top tier. So some things to think about. If you guys have any other ideas, you can let me know in the comment section below, but that's kind of what I'm thinking right now for those 4 legendary Pokemon. Then the Riddler goes on to post this Mecha Volcarona. Now, to the best of my knowledge, this thing is fan art, so don't get too excited, but it looks very, very epic and says, who is she? Now, we know Volcarona is a Pokemon that's going to be getting a Paradox form for both the past and the future. The past one is apparently fighting and bug, and it looks similar to Larvesta more so than Volcarona, but the future one is apparently thought to be fire and poison, much like Salazzle and Salandit, but here is like Mecha Super Volcarona, and it seems as though Riddler may be teasing that this is something to give us an idea of what maybe Volcarona looks like, and I'm all about it. This thing looks epic. I'm sorry I don't know who the original artist is, but to me, this thing looks really cool, and it has me so excited for Paradox Volcarona. Like, I didn't know I would be as excited about it. It's a little disappointing to me that it's not going to be bug type anymore, but I'm very, very excited for this particular Pokemon. Of all the Paradox forms that have been teased or leaked or whatever, which one are you guys most looking forward to? Let me know in the comments. And just a few other bits of housekeeping here. Riddler Koo posted the post a couple of days ago saying, which Terra Hat type do you want to know more about? I kind of joked about how I influenced the poll. Bug won with almost 40% of the vote, which is incredible. I responded to Koo this morning and I said, Bug wins as expected. Please share more. I haven't heard back yet. So hopefully by tomorrow we'll get an update on that and get a little bit more insight into what those terraforms look like for bug type Pokemon. I want to see what that hat looks like, or at least get some more information. Amy at Japan has reported that Kaka, our main source of leaking information, is back apparently, and break time will be over. So this could be a crazy weekend for us if Kaka starts dropping more information. Again, stay glued to the channel. I'll have you guys with the news if there is anything worth mentioning. We'll keep an eye out on that. And last but certainly not least, we have not seen this trailer yet. We know that the Pokemon Company was filming a trailer and we haven't seen it yet. So this is some screenshots or some pictures of that trailer. We'll have to wait and see when that comes out. Obviously, the Grafaiai reveal was just done, so it may be another week or a couple weeks before we get anything new, but worth mentioning that this is here. The last thing I'll mention in this video is Pokemon Unite has updated their map and released Mew and a bunch of other things. I'm way too busy to play right now, but I hope you guys are enjoying it. Seems like they turned the whole game on its head. It looks really dope. And again, be sure to check out the pre-order. Grab some Elestrals starter decks. These are prototype starter decks, and so allow you to play the game early, provide feedback, play test, everything like that. You guys go to shopelestrals.com to pick them up. Available for just 72 hours, so grab them now. This is it. This is your chance to grab them. And if you want to learn how to play the game, the How to Play guide is up on my other YouTube channel, the Elestrals YouTube channel. So see if it's something you'll like. I think you guys are gonna love it. I've like I said, I poured my heart and soul into this all year, man. I'm just having so much fun. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll keep you guys updated on any Pokemon news and more. And that's gonna be that. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.
Butterfree, go!